Welcome back to Motivational Wealth, everybody. Today we're diving into some really thought-provoking material.
Yeah.
And you know what struck me right off the bat? It's this fascinating parallel between, putting in the work to reach our goals
Hmm.
and this profound gift of salvation we receive through Jesus.
Yeah.
Like at first glance, they might seem worlds apart, right?
Right.
But there's this compelling connection that I think is really worth exploring.
Absolutely. I think when we look at the principles of success in any field, really,
Hmm.
they often emphasize like dedication and consistent action.
Mm,
You know,
right.
and it's really fascinating to see how these concepts can shed light on our understanding of our faith journey,
Yeah.
especially when we consider the gift of salvation.
One of the core ideas that really jumps out from the material we're looking at today comes from Myron Golden.
Hmm.
He says, success isn't accidental. It's not just luck.
Right.
It's the inevitable result of working hard and focusing on what truly matters.
Right.
Now think about that. Yeah.
Through the lens of our faith,
Hmm.
it becomes clear that while salvation is a gift freely given through Jesus,
Right.
it still requires our wholehearted response.
Absolutely.
It's not passive,
It's
you know?
it's not.
It involves our faith, our commitment,
Hmm.
a conscious effort to align our lives with that gift.
That's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
The gift of salvation isn't something we earn through our works,
Right.
but it definitely requires a response from us.
Yeah.
It's like receiving a valuable present, you
Right.
know?
Mm-hmm.
The giver offers it freely, but we still need to reach out and accept it,
Right.
cherish it,
Right.
and use it as intended.
Mhm.
Our faith in Jesus and our commitment to following his teachings, that's our active acceptance
Right.
and an application of the gift.
Golden also emphasizes that work is the great equalizer,
Yeah.
meaning you generally see a return that's proportionate to the effort you invest. Right.
Right.
And spiritually speaking,
Yeah. Jesus' sacrifice is the ultimate equalizer.
absolutely.
It offers redemption to everyone, regardless of their background.
It does.
But just like achieving worldly success requires consistent effort, embracing this incredible gift of salvation also requires our ongoing participation.
Yeah, it does.
It's about striving to live a life that reflects the transformative power of that gift.
And that's what I think is interesting here.
Mm.
What does that active participation actually look like?
Right.
And I think Golden's insights on building success can actually be really helpful here.
Mm.
He talks a lot about consistency
Right.
and intentionality in our efforts,
Mm.
in our faith.
Mm.
I think this translates to consistently engaging with God
Yeah.
through prayer, studying scripture,
Right.
actively seeking to live out, the principles of our faith in our daily lives.
Yeah.
And these aren't acts to earn salvation,
Right.
but expressions of gratitude
Yeah.
and ways to deepen our relationship with the one who offered us this gift.
He also addresses this misconception that success is just luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
He argues that while opportunities might come up,
Right.
it's the consistent hard work that allows individuals to capitalize on those opportunities.
Exactly.
In
Yeah.
our spiritual lives, we might experience these moments of grace and revelation,
Hmm.
but it's our consistent dedication to our faith that allows those moments to truly take root and transform us.
That is such a powerful analogy.
Yeah.
It's not about striving to earn God's favor through sheer effort,
Right.
but about cultivating a fertile ground in our hearts through consistent spiritual practices so those seeds of grace can flourish. Our consistent effort, it shows how much we value the gift we've received.
Golden uses this really compelling example of two authors.
Yeah.
One author wrote a set amount every single day, regardless of whether they felt inspired or not. And they
Right.
ended up far surpassing the author who only wrote when they felt moved to. And it really highlights the power of consistency over these sporadic bursts of enthusiasm
It does.
in our faith journey. Consistent engagement, even when we don't feel particularly inspired. That's what builds a deeper, more resilient connection with God.
Think about daily prayer. There might be days when we don't feel particularly connected or moved by it,
Right.
but the act of consistently showing up in prayer,
Yeah.
it cultivates a discipline
Mm.
and strengthens our relationship over time.
Yeah.
It's that steady, unwavering connection that deepens our understanding and appreciation of God's gift.
And Golden states this very clearly. Consistency is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who only dream about them.
That's so true.
It's those daily, often unseen efforts that compound over time and lead to significant results.
Yeah. Yeah.
And similarly, in our spiritual growth, it's the consistent choices we make every day to live according to our faith that gradually shape us and draw us closer to God.
Right.
It's not about perfection. It's about continuous direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that aligns perfectly with the idea of sanctification in Christian theology, which is the lifelong process of becoming more like Christ. It's not a one-time achievement.
It's not.
It's a journey of consistent growth and refinement fueled by God's grace.
Yes.
Our consistent effort in following Christ's example, that's a response to and a participation in that ongoing work of grace in our lives.
It is.
Golden also points out that a lot of people give up when they don't see immediate results.
Yeah, they do. That's true.
They put in some effort, and when they don't experience instant success, they get discouraged.
Yeah.
But those who persevere, those who understand that progress often takes time and consistent application, they're the ones who ultimately break through.
That's right.
In our faith, there might be times when we don't immediately see the impact of our prayers.
Or our efforts.
Yeah.
But we're called to persevere in faith.
We are.
Trusting in God's timing and the ultimate outcome of his promises.
Absolutely. That patience and persistence are vital.
Yeah.
Just like a farmer, who consistently tends to his crops, even when he doesn't see immediate growth.
Right.
We are called to consistently nurture our faith.
Yeah.
Through prayer study and fellowship, trusting that God will bring the spiritual harvest in his time.
So taking Myron Golden's powerful emphasis on consistent effort and applying it to our understanding of salvation, we can see how our ongoing commitment to our faith, born out of gratitude for Jesus' incredible gift of salvation, is a vital part of our spiritual journey.
It is.
It's not about earning the gift.
No.
It's about actively living in response to it.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing the immense value of the gift we've been given and demonstrating that appreciation through a life of consistent faith and action.
Just as consistent effort leads to tangible results in the world, our consistent devotion deepens our relationship with God and allows his transformative grace to work in our lives.
Thank you all for joining us for this deep dive into motivational wealth.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
We really appreciate you being a valued subscriber.
We do.
Your support allows us to explore these connections and insights together.
It does.
Drawing parallels between principles of success and the profound gift of salvation offered through Jesus. We're grateful to be on this journey with you.
We are.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, see you next time.